Well, perfect. In this chapter, what we're going to do is a project where we input a YouTube link. Alright. In this case, we'll take a link from MrBeast, and what we'll do is extract all the conversations, okay? Basically, the entire script of that YouTube video, alright? So, specifically, it works with YouTube, and is used through this library that's on the screen. Alright? YouTube Transcript API, okay? So, as always, well, first of all, you need to have the environment set up, and then, we'll install this library. To access the environment, I'm going to activate it again, okay? So you can see how it's done. You open Anaconda, click play, go to environments, okay? Open the terminal, and here you'll be in the path where your environment is located, alright? We copy up to conda.bat. That's how it is in my case. In your case, it might be different, okay? But it's always just a path. So, it's asking me to enter the path starting from user's Lenovo, alright? So I have to go back, okay? Alright, let's go back quickly. cd dot, and now we copy the path that Anaconda gave me, okay? Conda activate LLM. And now we see that LLM is in parentheses, which is the name of the environment. So we could already start working. Well, not yet, because we're not in the for LLM folder. Alright? But anyway, let's go back, cd desktop, cd udemy, cd04, and now we're there. Now you can run a pip install because the environment is activated and for these libraries. I already have it installed, okay? I'm going to install it again and it will overwrite the existing one. Nothing will happen. This is just to show the installation, which you likely know. Alright? So, requirements already satisfied. Perfect. The next thing we're going to do is create a new file, which will be called, well, youtube.py, okay? Where we'll do all the work for this mini artificial intelligence that generates YouTube scripts. Alright? Perfect. So, let's start programming and little by little we'll get this done. Okay. Perfect. First things first, we need to import the necessary libraries. And the very first one will be Streamlit, which is the library we'll use to build the entire front end, okay? For this little artificial intelligence, okay? We'll use dotenv, load_dotenv, so we can access the .env file, alright? We'll import OS from the operating system. Then, we'll call Google Generative AI and rename it as Generative AI, okay? So we can use these features related to the API. And then we'll use the YouTube Transcript API, alright? This allows us to do things like extract the text, okay? From YouTube videos, alright? Everything that's said in the video, make summaries, create scripts, whatever you want, okay? So with this, the YouTube Transcript API, the one we just installed, alright? We can see that the console is back to normal with my path and the environment activated. So now you can keep working, alright? Alright. So let's see. The first thing we need to do now is set up the .environment, okay? And the API key, alright? Let's call this load environment variables, okay? So here we grab the load.environment, alright? And we run that function, okay? So we can access this file. The next thing we'll do is set up the API key. So we'll use GenAI, okay? .configure function, alright? And here we'll put our API key, okay? In this case, it's you set API key equal to the operating system get environment Google _API _key, which in this case is this token right here, okay? Which I'll delete at the end of the course. Perfect. The setup is done. We've created the environment variables, the libraries, alright? And now we'll get started. Initially, I put the prompt below, but now I'm going to put it at the top, okay? So basically, this is the prompt that will be given to Gemini to generate the summary, alright? In other words, what we're going to do now is basically an internal prompt. We'll give the prompt to the Gemini API to tell it, hey, you're going to do this function, okay? And in this case, in a string variable, we'll tell it, you are an expert in summarizing YouTube videos based on the video description. Summarize the content in Markdown format to make it look nicer, use bullet points, subtitles if necessary, and keep it under 250 words, okay? Add clear titles and highlight the main ideas, alright? Here is the video text, okay? Then we pass it the video and it processes the text. Alright. So, here this video text means that we need to create a function that takes the video and converts it to text, okay? So, with this prompt, we're telling the Gemini API what function it needs to perform, alright? Let's give it some context so it can work. Great. Well, the next thing we need to do now is create our functions. In this case, there will be two, okay? The first function will extract the transcription from the YouTube video. And then a function to send the transcription to Gemini and get the summary in Markdown, alright? Perfect. So, as always, we define a function and give it a name, right? Here, we'll do the same thing. And here we'll say extract transcript. And here we'll put, well, the URL of the YouTube video, okay? So, we take the video and convert it to text. Alright, perfect. So first of all, we'll do this with a try block, okay? To test the code and see if it works. So, we'll just do a try here. And that's it. We'll tell this function, hey, try to capture the video ID, okay? So, how do we do this? With, let's see, we'll take the YouTube video URL, okay? And we'll tell it to apply a series of patterns so that the URL is clean, alright? Like we did in the NLP course, right? Natural language processing, okay? We tell it to split with this pattern, to select it's an element and split this with the first element, alright? Why? Because YouTube URLs, you know? I'm going to grab the example URL that's here. Well, they have these formats, right? Look, the V refers to a code, and honestly, I have no idea what the I stands for right now, but the V tells us there's a code, okay? I think it goes into the code and then grabs something else inside the code. So yeah, the V tells us that this is where the YouTube code is, alright? And well, once we have the link located, what do we want to extract? Well, the raw text, right? So, a variable called raw text. And now we're going to use this class, which is YouTube Transcript API, okay, and use a function called getTranscript, alright? It's right here, and then the video. So, we start with an empty description and we'll fill it in as usual. So now, okay, we already have the video, okay. Here, it's about searching within the raw text. Alright, so here consider doing this. Take the link, create the text, and in the raw text you need to search, okay, so that the transcription is done correctly. So first of all, we'll make a loop, okay? For each segment of the raw text, alright, make me a function, okay? What do we want? Well, we want this here to keep getting filled with stuff, with letters, right? So basically, transcription is more or less an equals plus segment text, right? So that everything stays properly linked together. And finally, what do we want to return in this case? Well, we want to return the transcription, okay, and the video ID. I'm going to copy it, alright? transcription, and our video ID. Now we've got the text extracted in the transcription extracted, okay? And our video ID will be referenced. Alright, now you're also going to add this try and accept, okay? To do a bit of exception handling in case, the video you enter, the link you provide is wrong, okay? Or whatever, if it doesn't work, so that it gives you a different message, alright? That it gives you this. Streamlit, there's going to be an error here. Error getting the transcription. The video has automatic subtitles enabled, okay? Just in case the video doesn't work, alright? The link you provided. Perfect. Alright, let's continue. Let's see. The next thing we'll do is the other function to send the transcription to Gemini and get the summary. Now, we already have the whole video converted to text and cleaned up, ready to send to Gemini and create that script we want to extract, right? So what we see is that when this happens, I'll get a downloadable markdown file. That's what we're going to do now, generate a markdown summary. So what do we need to provide? The transcription, right? And then the prompt, right? About what we want to do, the functionality, okay? Perfect. And well, as always, we have to specify the model we want to use. In this case, for Gen AI, we'll use a generative model. Let's see if it helps me. No, it's not helping me. We'll use the usual model, the Flash 1.5 model, since it's free, okay? And then, as always, we want a response. So, we'll create another variable called response. We'll take the model, okay? And things will be passed to the model. So, we'll need to do a generate content, and inside here we'll put the prompt plus the transcription. Perfect. And finally, we'll do a return here. Response.text. And that's it. We already have both functions. Now we need to make the front end, okay? With Streamlit. We'll see that later in the application. So, initially, you have to do the initial setup for Streamlit, which is basically what you always need to do to set up an initial configuration, okay? So now Streamlit, which is ST, right? I'll tell it set page config, okay? And we'll give it a little title, alright? So that it's referenced. And we'll say page title, YouTube video summary. Then, another ST, we'll do title here and give it a good name, since this is about converting YouTube videos to scripts in Markdown, okay? Okay. So, basically, we already have the interface done. Now we need to set up the user, okay? The user will be able to type things. They can write in a box and say exactly what they want, in case they want to add more stuff, okay? And simply. Sorry, not type things. No, they have to put the YouTube link. I just lost my train of thought there. You have to enter the YouTube link you want to transcribe, okay? So, same as always. We have a box to enter TE, to enter the text, to enter text, okay? So, ST text input, okay? That's a feature, and we see enter the video, okay? It's just a regular, ordinary box. The thing is, now with the link, what you have to do is specify that it's a YouTube link, okay? So, how do you do this? Well, we're just going to show the thumbnail if the link is present. And with this, now I'm going to make it so that this is just for it to show up in the app. Later we'll make the backend handle grabbing the link, okay? This will be done with the extract transcription function. Alright, that's it. Again, we'll check if the user has entered the YouTube link, okay? I've put it in here. Now I want to do a try accept, okay? Try, and down here, accept. Alright, that's it. I want you to try to do One moment, I'm thinking about this, extracting the link, okay? And also saving the video ID for me. Oh. Let's do it like this. We're going to save the video ID here, get a transcription, and all of this thanks to the functionality we made up above, okay? The extract_transcription. Perfect. And then we'll do the front end, okay? So, we'll make it so the image shows up, which is the thumbnail. The thumbnail is the image that appears at the beginning on YouTube, okay? So, the link, the video ID, and it will grab the image, alright? So, like I said, the image is what shows up at the start of the video. And if not, basically, the accept will just be like a pass and that's it, because so we can write more messages, okay? Perfect. What else is missing now? Once this whole setup is ready, we'll need to add a button so the user can enter the information and then click the button, right? So, a button to process the video, okay? The video and everything. So yeah, we'll make a button that will be yeah, a Streamlit button, get Markdown summary script. Alright. And if the button is pressed, okay, I want this to happen. Alright, I want it so that when the button is pressed, it shows that the video is being processed, okay? And that's it. And I want the following to happen while it's processing. Let's see, so I want it to generate the transcription, okay? Just like it's written here, it should grab the video and this is the transcription, okay? When it's processing. And then I want it to generate a summary for me, okay? Alright, how do you make the summary? Well, same thing. We use the second function once the transcription is done, the secondary prompt, and we save the file here as .md. What's left now? Download this variable, which will create the whole file with all the scripts saved in archivio.md, okay? So, just two little titles so it shows up in Streamlit, which is basically Streamlit Markdown, the video summary in some Markdown format, Streamlit Markdown summary, that kind of thing. So it displays like, that file so it shows up on the screen in the app. And now we just need to download it, right? So, how would you download it? Well, as download, right? Actually, download button. So, just use the download label. I want to download this variable here, okay? Which is the whole summary in Markdown, blah, 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 and so on. And finally, the link I chose to make this video. Control S, and now let's go ahead and deploy the app, okay? So now everything should be done. Let's go to the console, and with the environment activated and the correct folder path set, we'll run Streamlit run, and in this case it's YouTube, right? YouTube.py. Let's see now if the app runs. Well, it runs perfectly. We can see it here already. Why? Is this crashing on me? It crashed on me for a second. Sorry about that. Here is the local host, which is up here and it's running, so it's working. Very good. Look, convert YouTube videos to script. So, it says to give a link. I grabbed a video from the man, the famous Mr. Beast, okay? A person, basically the most famous YouTuber in the world. I love his videos, okay? And in this case, well, it's this guy basically. He takes a person, puts them in a supermarket, and for every day they spend in the supermarket, he gives them $10,000, and what he has to do is give them supermarket products, okay? Well, same thing. We're going to click here to get the script, summary, and markdown, okay? Let's see how it summarizes for me. It says, he's a clever guy. In 5 days he joins a supermarket for 10,000 euros a day. Here we can see how it is. What's the challenge? There's a reward, a twist, a donation to charity. And then the evolution of the challenge, okay? And the result, Alex won $450,000, an unforgettable experience, okay? So, this would be kind of like the script for the video, right? That's what I asked it for. What would the challenge be like? The evaluation of the challenge, the result. And if you click here to download, all of this gets downloaded as a.md file, okay? I'll grab it and leave it here for you if you want to check it out, alright? Here you see here you can see the entire downloaded .md file. I'll leave it here in this workflow. And well, that's it for the video. I hope you liked it, and this is really useful for quickly extracting information from YouTube. I don't know if you use it, but I actually use it quite a lot.